Hello and welcome. Today I wanted to show you around the PDF Alexandria application, an application for annotating PDFs, which I have created, frankly, out of need of annotating big amounts of scientific publishing, but in general it can be used to annotate just about any PDF document. So this is the main window, the way it appears when you first start the application. It's super simple. It contains only two buttons, the About button, which will show you the version that you're using. For the purpose of this demo, we are using the version 2024B, and the other one is actually for opening the PDF. So we will do just that. We have a PDF about a unit network here, and the first thing you see when it opens is actually just sort of PDF reader type of view, but you will notice that you have two panes initially, and on the left side, in the left column, so to say, you can actually see the text of the PDF, and the right one is sort of grayish color and it's empty. And this is what we call the annotation space. So one thing that you can do is, of course, you can zoom in and zoom out by holding Control and using the mouse wheel, or by using your touchpad if you are on a device with a touchpad. And the other things that you can do is the simple ones is the typical annotations that one can make in a PDF. So you can select text, and you can do it not more easily than in other applications, because whenever you do that, you already present it with a pop-up that allows you to at the same time select the type of annotation that you would like to place, whether it is a highlight, an underline, or something that I think is also not that common, an outline, and the color of the annotation. So let's say we want to place a purple highlight here, a green outline here, and a blue underline here, and you can immediately see how that works. You can also remove these by right-clicking them and then clicking delete, so we can walk back. But the next step of working with annotations, the way I do it, is actually dragging them to the annotation space. So you can actually grab this text, the highlighted one, and grab it into annotation space. When you do that, you will see a text box appearing that will match the color of this marking that you placed and the size, at least the initial box. And now comes an important part. So PDF Alexandria likes to sort of stick to the settings of the last thing that you touch in terms of annotations. So if I make this box smaller and then I select some more text, and here is another learning, is you can also drag the text directly without actually marking it first. So if I just grab this text and place it here, it will appear in a text box that is the same size as the previous one. And it will also have its color because it just keeps the settings of whatever thing we touched before. So if I change this actually to feature black text and white background, by the way, I get into this dialog by double clicking the item, and then I drag some more text, then it will be again black on white background. And the next thing that you usually do is you're going to place some kind of arrows or other markings in between these text boxes. So the arrows is the first thing to probably do. You can place an arrow by dragging in an empty space, and I will click on this purple box because otherwise the arrow will be white. We probably don't want that. So I will click this and I will draw two purple arrows towards these boxes, right? So you can see how this works. And when you right click an arrow, you will be presented with a pop-up that lets you adjust the heads that will be present on the arrow, and also the thickness. So you can make it thinner or thicker on the contrary. Well, this is maybe a little bit too much. Well, let's stick to 2. And yeah, you can place any color that you like. And the nice thing about arrows is that whenever you click an arrow or whenever you work with arrow like that, the next one that you draw will be exactly the same. So we have actually this double-headed red arrow. But if I click the violet one, I will get a violet arrow, right? And also if I want to have, for example, double-headed thin arrow, but I want it violet, then I can click the arrow and then click the box, and then I will derive the arrow characteristics from the arrow, but the color from the box. So this is the way to sort of work with whatever you already have on the page. I call it the drawing defaults. And it just makes things a lot faster when you don't have to go through these pop-up menus, although the pop-up menus are already anyway faster than actually going through some kind of toolbars in the application. Okay, so now maybe back to for a second to the boxes. So you can change the size of these boxes, and as you will notice, the text actually adjusts in terms of wrapping and also the font size to always fill the box. So this is another cool feature that saves you a lot of effort with regards to formatting. And now, if you right-click in the empty annotation space, you will see that there is a sort of main menu of the application. So the application is developed in Qt QML, and as opposed to Qt widgets, it is not really aiming to be sort of aligned with the style of the operating system. And I decided to stick with that. I think this is actually quite new, and it allows you to keep the interface super clean and super minimalistic. There is no wasted space for any kind of toolbars or menus, and you can just focus on the task at hand, right? So one thing that you can do here is you can switch the drawing mode from arrow to freehand. The items here always display the current status, right? And when you are in this freehand drawing mode, you can actually place also arrows or lines in general. One more important thing. When you click the arrow, the drawing actually mode switches also to arrow. But then I switched it back to freehand, but keeping the settings of this arrow. And then when I draw a freehand line, it will also derive the characteristics of this arrow. So it will be double-headed. And you can, with this, you can actually draw anything. I mean, so usually you would probably place some kind of fancy frames around boxes and maybe link it to the text out there. You can change the characteristics of the arrow afterwards as well. So you can like remove one head. Here you can remove, for example, both heads just to have a marking like this, use a line. Of course, this stays, so the last thing that you worked with will be define the style of the next one that you draw. So if I draw something now, a freehand now, it will actually be a something without heads, for example. And and we briefly got into this text box settings. So I will go there again. You can either double click a text box or right click it and select edit from the pop-up menu. You can see also that we have, apart from controlling the colors and the content of the box, you can actually activate the markdown option, which then lets you do something like this. You can place whatever markdown syntax that you would like to place. For example, let's say ABC, DF, GHI, just something very silly, but it will give us a sort of bullet list, and you can see it appears, formatted like that. So you can do bolded, italic text, strike through, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can place also links and so on. So there is a fair amount of markdown syntax supported. And you can use it essentially to make your notes even richer. And then maybe to make this more complete, you can also place images in this annotation space. You can grab the images. Essentially, it's all based on the drag and drop interface. You can either select something that is in the document and then just drag it and drop it in the annotation space. And then you can, for example, make it a little bit smaller. Or you can actually drag and drop images from a web browser or from the Windows Explorer or any other file navigator that you have on your system. It accepts any kind of dropped images, or at least it aims to. So if there is a problem with that, you can always, place an issue on the GitHub page, and then perhaps I will try to fix it. But I think as far as I've tested on Windows and Mac OS, it actually supports pretty well all these functionalities. And maybe I think we are getting almost, to having presented everything there is. Maybe I will then briefly mention also the 3-column mode. So if you activate this option, you will switch into 3-column mode. And now you have 2 annotation spaces on the left and on the right. So this works really fantastically when you have documents that is actually also come with 2 columns of text. Then you can work with the left column on the left and with the right column on the right. And it gives you just, so much space, so much more space for actually placing the annotations, right? So it's really a very nice feature. And another thing about working with these spaces is that if you want to have a different zoom level for the annotation space and for your page, you can achieve this in such a way that you actually click a duplicate window from the main menu. Then a new one will appear containing essentially the same document, and then you can lay them out with one being placed on the left side on the screen and the other one on the right side of the screen. And you can then actually have, for example, here you can have the text, and here you can have your annotation space, and you can zoom much more into the annotation space and place, for example, the text boxes that are much smaller, and you can also make your arrows much thinner, like 2 or 1 even thickness, and you can you can conserve really a ton of space by working with this kind of double windowed mode. So this is a powerful feature, and you can actually you can observe also that whatever annotations you place, they readily appear in the other window, right? So this is you will not get somehow a situation where you have two different things going on, but the drawing defaults and so on are separate between the windows, so you can actually work with them really separately. But whatever you do here will appear immediately in the other window, and you can open actually any number of windows. The ones that contain the same document will actually be synchronized, and if they contain a different document, then you will have just a multiple window. But you have always these two options: duplicate window or new window. If you have new window, it just appears in this original initial state. And the other options in the main menu are essentially open PDF if you just want to open another document. Or another option that is pretty nice is to add a text box where you actually can type an arbitrary text, and it just places a text box here in the document. And also the last two options that we have here are actually the content option, which normally displays the content table and you can navigate. So actually this contains only this initial entry. There is no tree, but normally you can have a tree actually of content here. When you click it, it will just navigate at least vertically, to where the pointer points. So here it's actually to the title of the document. And the other option is actually to go to page. So if you would just want to go from page 1 to page 5 really rapidly, you just do like that, and you are immediately on page 5. So I think this is about it. I think I think it's a pretty nice document. I can say that it took definitely my own notes to the next level, and I think I think this application can be really useful. So please give it a try, and just let me know how you like it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and wish you a nice day.